Hello, I'm Vern Davis, and I am the host of Plant Profits, and we are here in wonderful Las Vegas at MJBiz. And we're excited that we're going to have some wonderful guests, and we're starting off hot, absolutely, with the CEO of Leafly, Yoko Miyashita, is here today with us. And Yoko, how are you?
Doing great. This is my first meeting in Vegas and actually my first MJBizcon. So
is it?
Yeah, great way to kick
What
this
did they do with the 9 that they had before this without you? I mean, come on.
Yeah, I'm a lawyer by training, and they usually tuck us in the back room. So
yeah,
prior to taking
great.
on the role of CEO,
that
always keeping the home front.
That is great. Well, it's so appropriate that we talk to you first. Here at MJBiz, there's a lot in the news about what's going on and what has happened, right? Some things that are happening and some new things that have come up with you guys. You had a little transaction, did you?
Well, we announced a transaction. Yeah. Very excited to announce our pending merger with Merida Merger Corp, a SPAC, that will result in Leafly becoming a public company traded on the NASDAQ.
I saw that. Now, tell me what drove this union.
Yeah, we met the Merida folks. Peter Lee is the president of the SPAC. We met Peter when he launched the SPAC on behalf of Merida 2 years ago.
Okay.
And the Merida name, they are private equity investors in this space. They've made some incredible bets, and they're well known as great partners in the industry.
Right.
So it just kicked off a great conversation with Peter. And as he was, that SPAC process, you have to go out and really search for the right company for your SPAC, and it's a function of SPAC size and what are you trying to get, what kind of investments are you able to make. We just kept that open dialogue for 2 years.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
For 2 years?
Oh, yeah. Well, he launched in December of last year, and on our end, you're always raising money in this space. We were evaluating all options.
Right.
And it's just one of those things where it all came together. Peter showed up around April, and we started that conversation, announced the deal in August.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, once you got to it, it didn't take too long.
Yeah, because you already had that relationship, right? You've got the Merida name and the trust in that name. You've got a great collaborative relationship with the lead over there.
Yeah.
And, it's been it's just so much easier to work through those issues when you have that established relationship.
Absolutely. So that's great. So what does it mean to the business part of this?
Oh, it's huge for us. We're a non-plant touching consumer, content-driven marketplace, right? These are unique in this space, and you know what the capital markets can or can't do, right? If you're plant touching, your only option is Canada. And so for us, there aren't that many companies out there, a handful of non-plant touchers that are achieving scale with a business model that can grow even before federal legalization. And there's so much activity and interest in cannabis to be able to bring this company to the public markets and open that up for all of these potential investors is huge.
I love that.
Yeah,
that's great. That's very, very exciting. And so, this has been a banner year for cannabis. There's a lot of good things happening. More consumers are really just diving into the legal marketplace, and that's wonderful. What are some of the things you're seeing, trends that you're seeing in the cannabis environment that you believe over the next 2 years will be transformational?
Oh, let's start with jobs.
Yes.
Leafly publishes the seminal jobs report on cannabis.
Yeah.
Why do we publish this? We've been doing this for 5 years because the federal government doesn't track these numbers. 2020 was a record year, 321,000 full-time equivalent jobs in cannabis in the U.S. And when you're posting, it's huge.
It's huge.
More than electrical engineers, more than paramedics, more than dentists in this country. You cannot ignore those numbers.
Right.
And for us, it's taking those numbers and putting that in the hands of the right regulators and policymakers who are all trying to build back their state coffers post-COVID. How do you do that? Cannabis is a fantastic industry. They're state captive. They build jobs in your backyard. Can you think of a better way?
No, Yoko, I can't. And the numbers are overwhelming.
The numbers are overwhelming, which is when you take facts, when you take that data, and you take that to state regulators, you see them acting quickly.
Right.
And here's what you asked me, what's the seminal moment?
Right.
It's the dominoes, right? November ballot initiatives. New Jersey went adult use by ballot. You knew everyone has to follow. Why? Because it's such a densely populated part of the country. if New York doesn't legalize, if Connecticut doesn't legalize, you just take a train, 15 minutes, you're in New Jersey to buy your, it had to happen.
Exactly.
So that is huge for us.
Yeah.
And I'm just so excited about helping consumers access legal cannabis, helping build businesses, these brands and these retailers and these local communities. Those are states that have put a deep, deep emphasis on social equity. Like, this is a long tail.
This is.
Right?
No, I totally agree. You mentioned something, 321,000 open jobs.
321,000 jobs.
321. Think about that now. So, how does it happen? What's going to happen to allow the right talent to go to the right place? And so many changes have happened in the world of work since COVID, and COVID drove a lot of these changes. And people, is it possible to get what investors want out of their companies and their businesses, by people working from home and?
Oh my goodness, it's been so interesting for us. And think about us,
Tell
right?
me about that.
Technology company.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So no plant, no sort of warehouse, no retail.
Right.
For us, we went fully remote within probably about March 12th was the date that we sent everyone home in 2020. And we were like many other technology companies. We saw the opposite. We saw so much productivity.
Yeah.
Because people didn't have anything to do, remember, 15 months ago.
Exactly.
And so we had to balance out, all right, how do we bring balance back and ask folks and sort of build in that intentional time to not be working all the time. And then I think we're now
Does that work, though? I hear that so much, that we build in that intentional time.
The data around video meeting fatigue is real, right?
It's real.
So
totally
we have
real.
right now we do every other week meeting-free Fridays. Why? Because people need time to work.
Okay.
People need time to not be looking at each other through a screen.
Right.
Right?
Uh-huh.
So there are all these tweaks, but I'll tell you what's missing now. We're starting to miss that sense of community. Like, it's so nice to be sitting here without, we had a conversation about, can we take our mask off? We shook hands. And I think that's human nature, and we've got to be thinking 2 steps ahead about how do we bring that back into a company of our size. Now, I think there's a very different calculus for the growers, for the processors, for the dispensaries who never left their workplace, right? Like,
that's exactly right.
They were performing an essential service. Talk about a seminal moment.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Cannabis, an essential
Cannabis
service.
essential jobs.
Right.
Cannabis essential jobs. And where I go to with jobs and what do we need, and what do we need both as a industry and as a community trying to build this, is the right education. This is an agricultural product. There's technology aspects to it. And I'm super excited. For example, Medgar Evers College in New York just announced a cannabis minor.
That is
And
happening.
I've been speaking with the team over there, and it's everything from chemistry to data science to AI. Like, think about the future of work, think about the future skills that are going to be required to be successful in this industry. Like, it starts there. That's where we build our pipeline.
And that trend is happening.
Yes.
Schools are putting in cannabis.
Isn't that amazing?
That is amazing. But it's driven by this wave of interest, this wave of wellness concerns that the consuming public has. Yoko, I'm so excited for what Leafly and the merger with Merida has brought and what is going to bring to your organization. I'm so excited for you and the team and the organization, and I think that you guys are positioning yourself well to succeed in the future in cannabis, and it's going to be awesome. I think dominoes are going to fall.
Thank you so much. Yeah, we couldn't be more excited. We are here. We've been serving consumers, retailers, and brands for over a decade. That is not stopping.
That's awesome. I'm Vern Davis. I'm your host of Plant Profits. Plant Profits is brought to you by Produce Global. My wonderful guest today, the CEO of Leafly, Yoko Miyashita.
Excellent. Thank you so much for having me. Nice to meet you.
My pleasure.